Hey, I'm Shelly,
And I'm Angela,
and this is Real Talk Dating Exposed.
where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of dating in your 40s. What's up, motherfuckers? I had to open up with that. Dennis Gable, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, shit. I'm a weird dude. I've lived a lot of life. I love to create things. I care deeply about men's mental health. I care about the mental health of all people, but specifically, the mental health of men, and put a lot of time, energy, and effort into that.
Yeah. I know. I mean, we've known each other for a couple of years now, and that definitely comes through. How old are you?
42.
Single? Married?
I am.
Dating?
Single.
Okay.
Divorced.
Okay.
Single.
How long do you stay divorced? I mean, I feel like how long do you keep saying divorced before you're just single again?
Well, I've been divorced longer than I was married.
Okay, so I think you're just single. Let's just say that. I always teeter with that. People ask me, and I'm like, am I divorced? I mean, I'm divorced, but like at this point, I'm just single.
I feel like if you're divorced and you don't say that, then it's going to be like, well, have you ever been married? So let's just
Okay. Carry on.
Yeah.
married for 5 years.
Okay.
We separated in 2017. So it's been longer apart than we were together.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you date a lot?
I have.
Yeah. How's that going?
Dating in the last 7 years, dating has been super weird. Initially when I left my ex-wife, I was like on all the apps and doing all the things. And, some of the weirdest experiences I had were two things. One, women trying to commit to me before I ever met them.
Yep.
Like
It's a thing.
I would have girls be like, so we're like a thing. I'm like, I haven't even met you yet. Like, but what are we going to do tomorrow? I'm like, I still haven't met you yet. The other one is, so do you want more kids? Every first date ever was like, so do you want more kids?
Because you feel like that's their deal breaker?
Most of the time it was.
Are you
Like-
dating younger? Is that why?
Typically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't particularly date older. I've never been like, I've gone on some dates with women that are older than me, but not very many in my life.
Yeah.
I've dated younger. I've dated much younger. But these conversations were with women in their 30s. And this is as of a couple years ago, even like I'm fucking 40. Now I'm 42, but at the time I was like, I'm fucking 40 years old.
Yeah. We're not starting over.
Well, plus you already have a daughter, correct?
I have two kids. I have
kids.
a 17-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son.
So
and
potentially the conversation would be different if you didn't have kids yet. Because there are people in their, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if in their 40s that just never hit that mark. But being that you already have two grown kiddos, you're not trying to redo that.
No, fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
Also, can we just talk about, so as you were talking and you're like, I never date older women. I was like, that's weird.
You think that's weird?
It's not weird that you don't. It's weird. It would be weird if you said you did. And why is that?
You find that weird?
Yeah.
Do you just assume
No.
men in our age range date younger?
I feel like typically older, never younger.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay for men to date younger. But
How
I
much
think
younger
for
are
a
we
man
talking?
to date older would be weird to me.
The last relationship I was in, she was 17 years younger.
That's a big gap.
It is a big gap. Typically like 3 to 8 years,
For sure.
is like kind of normal, feels normal.
Yeah. Can we chat through this? Because you and I were talking about this last week with men dating younger, because it's a common thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I just said, like, I like to date men that are older anyways. Right. So is there a part where as a man dating someone younger makes you feel younger, right? Like we had a conversation at our mixer with someone and he was like, I can't believe I'm 55. I don't even want to say that out loud. So as a man, is there's this component of your ego and validation of, well, if I'm dating someone younger, then maybe I'm perhaps not as old as I actually am.
I have a couple answers to your question. One, ego plays a part in all of it. Two, I don't feel 42. I don't know what it feels like to be 42 years old. I feel 28 all day long. Like, I can party with the best of them. I still play competitive basketball. There's like nothing in my life that I do now that I can't do that I did when I was 28. That was a weird sentence. I don't know that it's so much about ego as it like just biologically. And that probably sounds weird to say, but historically men have always
lagged.
Not always. Typically had women that are younger than them.
Well,
right?
I also think, isn't it a statistic? Like men are like 10 years less mature than women. Like I mean, that's a real thing.
I'm not discounting that for sure.
So I feel like men, because us in our 40s, we relate to older men emotionally more than even men our age sometimes. But I think men in general just have a more immature, dare I say, like stance on life. And so
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
I'm not in like fuck boy party boy stage at 42, but I don't feel old, and so dating people younger feels more natural. Like I feel like I am where they are.
For sure.
Maybe is more of a true statement more than like I'm trying to.
I mean, we're your age.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, are you saying we're old?
Yeah.
No.
Would you date a 42-year-old?
I would.
Yeah.
So in my last relationship, one of my friends asked me, dating is hard in general, right? And the girl that I was dating, she's 25, I'm 42. And one of my friends asked me, is it harder or easier, better or worse than dating a single mom in their 40s? And I said, equally as hard. Like it's just
for different reasons.
It's just a different set of things that you have to navigate, right? So for me, I would happily date somebody my age if they could keep up with my social calendar, because I like to hang out with my friends. I like to go out and watch football. I like to play card games with my friends. Like,
I mean, 42 doesn't mean you're dead, dear. Like, we do all of those things.
But
our social, I would dare say, like, could you keep up with our social calendar?
But to be fair, I mean, we like to be in bed by 9, up by 5:30.
Yeah, we're not tying it on every night. No, but we're still active and busy. I know. I'm just giving you shit.
And I don't tie it on every night, but you know, I lean towards like if there's fun to be had, and I've done a lot of personality tests and work to like understand what the fuck I am as a human, which has been its own nightmare of a journey. But understanding what I am as a human also has valuable components to know that like I probably shouldn't be with a super like introspective, want to be in bed at 7:30 every day, need to get up at 4 a.m. sort of person, because that's not who I am.
Right.
I don't need to stay up till 3 a.m, but if we need to go have a good time, let's fucking go have a good time. Like, life is so serious. Life is so important and also so not serious at the same time.
Sure. For sure.
Like, let's live while we're fucking living.
Yeah. No,
and,
I love that.
And that matters a lot to me.
Okay. So you brought up your journey. So let's kind of chat through that.
Okay.
You're holding in your hands what?
A deck of cards called 52 Card Pick Me Up.
Okay.
It's a deck of cards that I created.
Okay.
And its purpose initially was for me to find more about myself. I was struggling to find tools and things that I could identify day in, day out, momentary, simple action items. And so I created a deck of cards because I'm a fucking weird dude, and that's what I do is I see a gap and I want to create space for the gap. So the deck of cards has 4 suits: affirm, need, act, and feel. And in each of those suits, there's 13 cards corresponding to those. And the way that I use it is I pull one of each suit and give myself some shit to think about. It's wickedly intrusive. when you don't want it to be, especially. I'm very familiar with this whole thing. I can do it with my eyes closed a lot of times.
Sure.
I've been able literally to like pull one of each suit with my eyes closed because I feel it. I know it. I built it, you know? But this is one of the tools that I created for me. And outside of that, I've done every fucking personality typing test you could possibly imagine.
So what are you trying to do by doing that? Like what void are you trying to fill, or what sent you down that? Do you know what I mean?
That is a great goddamn question.
You're welcome.
And I don't like that you asked it.
That's why I'm here, Dennis.
I have felt broken for most of my life. A large part of my story is not having support at home. You know, you grow up in a house where your dad calls you pussy, asshole every day. Like, you wonder why you exist at some point. And then I got into my adult life, and one of the things that my dad hated the most about me is how creative I was. And he just wanted me to be a blue collar wrench turner, which is what he did, you know? And so I really struggled through, like, why the fuck am I this way? I was a pastor for almost 20 years, which is another like subset of foundation for what I became. And I wrapped myself in so many other things that once I was getting divorced and my marriage fell to shit, and, you know, I cheated on my ex-wife. That's how my divorce happened. You get to that point and you wonder, what the fuck am I even doing here? Like, the suicide rate for men is very, very high. And I think a lot of that comes to that question. What the fuck am I doing here? I got fired from my job. I failed my marriage. My kids don't like me, whatever it is. And as a man, sometimes there doesn't feel like very many options other than, let's just cut this one out. We'll start over in 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so for me, really the goal was to understand what the fuck I am, like from an instinctual mechanism standpoint. And personality tests aren't perfect, right? But you answer enough questions, you give enough information, it gives shit back to you that you read it and you're like, how the fuck do you know? How the fuck do you know this about me? All I did is answer 50 questions or 100 questions. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's been very helpful. But to answer your question about the ego, what I'm pursuing is I don't even know how to say this. What I'm pursuing is the fulfillment of what I believe I can be.
Mm-hmm. So your purpose.
Yeah, I keep chasing. Oh, fuck me. There's been so much failure. There's been so much failure in my life that I keep chasing what the paper tells me. Mm-hmm. And if I read it enough, maybe I'll get there. And like you said, at 42, like or at 42, I'm not old.
No.
Like, I've got a fucking lifetime to live, but also, God damn it.
Yeah.
Hurry the fuck up. I'm trying to chase the thing that the paper says.
Mm-hmm. A couple thoughts there. So with, the thought of failure, do you think there's a component of, well, I have a couple thoughts. One, as men, I feel like society tells men, and I'm sure your dad said this just based on what you've shared with us, right? Emotions are weak.
Don't be a bitch.
You can't as a little boy show your emotions, which obviously has an effect on you, not only as a child, but also as an adult. Right. So I think there's a component of that where you're human, mm-hmm. man, woman, child, it doesn't matter. You're still going to have those feelings. Right. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to, learn how to express them without the fear of it coming across as being fake or not a man. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that. But also, do you think that if you're looking back on your life, these things, point of references that you say are failures, right? Are these opportunities for you to maybe settle into more of who you are versus trying to force what you think you should be?
I'll answer the second question first.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what sometimes I don't know what is real and what is not in terms of how I am pursuing the world. I know I'm creative. I know I'm innovative and strategic, and I know that I have all these gifts. I also know that I've fucking failed miserably at so many things in that world, right? As one example. So I don't know. The second part is my son actually makes fun of me for crying. He's encouraged to cry and feel his emotions, and we're sitting on the couch watching a movie, and it gets me. And he can tell by my breathing.
Yeah.
I go, and he literally has looked at me and go, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's something innate in men that pushes emotion away. But when when you double down and people are telling you, don't be a bitch, don't cry, hold it in, shut the fuck up, you learn how to do that even stronger. The expression of a man to be able to cry, be vulnerable, share, express is a special gift.
Yeah.
If you find it in a man, that's a special thing.
Yeah. Okay. 2 more questions.
Yeah.
One, was there a pivotal moment in your life, perhaps it was your divorce, I'm not sure, where you're like, okay, this cycle keeps happening. I'm the common denominator here. I need to knock this shit off. Was there a pivotal moment in your life that you can pinpoint where you're like, okay, I need to go back to like who I am and try to heal?
Yeah, it actually wasn't my divorce. I thought I did. My ex-wife would probably disagree if she watched this, but I thought I did my marriage pretty well for most of it. After that, I was fuckboy to the max. I mean, you can't even imagine the shitty version of me as a human at that point. And it was after a breakup, beginning of 2022, that I was like, man, fuck this. This is the end. I dated a girl that I was infatuated with. Like, I knew her through some friends. We had the opportunity to date. It was goddamn fucking terrible and miserable in every way, shape, and form. And we broke up very abruptly. Like, I moved out of her house within 24 hours. U-Haul truck, had my own apartment, the whole thing within 24 hours. I didn't listen to music for 2 weeks. I didn't watch TV for 2 weeks. I just sat with myself. And that was amidst having already done some of the tests and I had already created this. Like, these things were already a part of my life. And it was this moment where I was like, just shut the fuck up for a minute. Personally. And I did. And I sat with myself. Probably 2 of the best weeks I've ever had as a man, to just be quiet.
For sure.
I didn't post. I didn't look. I didn't watch. I didn't listen. I just was really, really, really with me. And that time was very special.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing. As women, how can we help support men? What questions could we be asking to help encourage and create a safe space for them to show emotions?
We're going to wrap it up with this one.
Yeah, we don't have enough time.
Give us your
I'll give
Cliff
you
notes, like bullet point 3 or 4.
I'll give you the high level version of how I think about this. I have in my brain something that I call the armor. When men go out every day, we put on armor. We've got to fight the world. We've got to fight for our woman. We've got to fight for our kids. We've got to provide and protect, right? Like, that's our call. That's our mantra as men. When I get home, I don't want to have to sit at the front door and bang out all the dents and wipe the blood off and clean my armor so that you think it's clean, so that I come into the house and you can kick the shit out of me too. Does that make sense? From like an illustration standpoint? And so what I'm not saying is women partners shouldn't have their opinion, their voice, their et cetera within the home. What I mean is, like, I, as a man, already feel so much pressure to not fuck it up. If I get home and the first thing I hear is like, you didn't fold the towels right. I'm already bloody again because I did this shit all day.
How many successful men do we talk to and all they say is they want to come home and they want peace?
Peace.
Like from their woman, that's like the main thing that they are looking for in whatever capacity that looks like, right? But
the hard part though is that this insinuates that women shouldn't have an opinion.
I'm not saying I agree with this.
I think it's synergistic, right? Where it's like I can be peace if the man is also peace. Like I am peaceful as a human. And I feel like I'm still human, so I try not to let other people disrupt that. But it takes two, I think, to maintain that peace within a home.
For sure.
And one of the things, if I show emotion, so I get to talk to a lot of men about these kinds of things. Most of the men that I've talked to that have this experience have said it the same way. I chose to let my guard down for my partner. She exposed it. Yep. She weaponized it. Yep. And I will never do that shit again.
We hear this all the time.
I hear that. Yeah, we hear that so much. I think there's also a component of then, are you picking the right partner, right? Are you because I feel like a human, man or woman, who has done the work to understand compassion and understanding and the vulnerability on both sides, you would never use somebody's moment where they chose to be open and vulnerable as a weapon.
I think this also goes back to
immaturity,
communication, right? Yeah. So if that is how you would feel if it was you and I did something that made you feel like I was attacking your vulnerability, are you communicating that back to me? Maybe I wasn't aware that, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's a component too of men just shutting down before they even communicate. Give your woman a chance to get it right. And I'm not disagreeing with you.
I do agree with you.
For sure.
I do, certainly. The experience of a man saying, I had a really hard day. That phrase alone is gold. It really is. What I've experienced personally is I let a tear fall. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. And, my partner's saying it couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah.
And men do this. Men are terrible. We're problem solvers, right? Generally, like we don't shut the fuck up when our partner comes to us with a problem. And I'm sure both of you have experienced this. And you're like, I had a hard day. And a guy's like, here's 7 ways to fix it.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah.
What I think men don't do a good job of is saying, hey, I'm going to say some things. I just want you to listen. And I think that's twofold, right? It's both partners being willing to say,
right,
I just need an ear.
For sure.
But exposing and weaponizing a man's vulnerability, because men don't have the same spaces that women do to get that out.
Right.
Women have so many spaces to generally, not all women. I'm not trying to be a generalist. But women have a lot of spaces they've got the group chat, they've got the mom club, they can go to paint night, they can do whatever to talk, get it out, bitch about their partner, etc. Like men don't really have a lot of that. Some men do. And those are some of the spaces that I try to create is spaces where men can just exist for a minute.
Yeah. Love that. Well, while we're talking on that, where can people find you?
Instagram, Dennis Gable.
Dennis Gable?
Yeah.
The main place?
Yeah. Same with the website, dennisgable.com.
Awesome.
Go buy some shit.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Go buy some cool
shit. Go buy some shit.
Go buy some
Go
cool
buy some shit.
Thanks for coming on.
Dana, thank you so much.
Being out with us.
Thank you.